The slap seen and heard around the world. The Jedi speaks. What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. As you know, and this is classic for me, I always tell you, quite often there is an extra sensational event that will take place in the society, and everybody and their mother is rushing to get that story out, especially those that are here with monetized channels and YouTube is their career, and and they're here to jump on the sensational bandwagon for their clicks and views and popularity and to grow their hobby. I exist on this planet at this time in existence since my birth to bring something of value to anyone who encounters me anywhere in life. It doesn't matter. And certainly here on this platform, that has always been my pursuit. And so with something like this, I wait. Because I know that it will be an evolving story. And instead of me jumping into the pool, I gotta wait till the temperature comes up right, just right for me. So when I stick my big toe in there, I go, yeah, that's perfect, But most of all, do I have something to contribute that elevates the discussion? And if I don't, then there's no need for me to speak. But alas, I do have something to contribute. And I always tell you, always check the date and the time of anybody you hear after me to see when did they make their video, and you'll know if they were biting off of me. I speak from the heart. I'm a unique vessel. And everything that comes out of me is from my soul, by the grace and mercy of the one who possesses all knowledge, and that is the creator of the heavens and the earth. And I use my gifts and my converging knowledge to bring to any topic that I approach. First, I want to say out the gate that Jada Pinkett looked amazing. She looked radiant, goddess-like, a vision, an angel, pick one. I had to go and see the red carpet. I didn't know the Oscars were happening or anything at all. In fact, I need you to know that at the time that I found out about this, I was in my kitchen baking wings. And my nephew, the prince, shout out to you, nephew, if you see this. Shout out to you. Because my nephew texted me and made me aware of this. In fact, I need to read his text because I don't know if I actually read well, it's on that phone. I can't read it right now. But anyways, that's how I found out. And I still didn't get a chance to look for anything at that time because I was busy. So it's probably, I don't know, a couple hours later that I even had an opportunity to sit down and see what was going on. And I watched to see what was going on. Let's see, let me make a note here, you guys. Hold on one second. To see what was going on. First thing I want to say is this. I always tell you everything is us and them with white people. Us and them. I'm going to preach that until I take my last breath, because when my people, and the more of my people that understand that truth, that will help to affect and inform how you process information and events that go on in this nation. You know, the oppression and the attitudes against us never take a vacation, not even for a couple of minutes. It's like, oh, this is happening now, so I guess that's kind of all fine now, just that at least that's off the table. No, no, no. No, no. No, no. No, no, no. It never stops. And so events like this, and we'll just use this because I'm really insinuating everything, but I'm using this. So events like this are an opportunity for you, if you are wise and you are paying attention, to understand the cultural movement, the social movement in this nation, and a barometer of where you are and are not. So I digress. Jada looked amazing. I had to go, in preparation to bring this to you, I had to go and see everything that I could learn. And I saw them arriving on the red carpet. Jada looked amazing. If you only saw her sitting down in the theater at the show, you even if you thought she looked amazing, you still had to see her them arriving for the event to really appreciate how amazing she looked. And of course, standing next to Will Smith, she looks like she's 1 foot tall. The dress was obviously haute couture, and she had this, it's very fluffy and this sort of ruffled train. I mean, she looked devastating, really fantastic. And while I didn't know anything about her alopecia battle, because Jada has had her hair cut close before, and she's one of those people that has a face that she can do that, in the shape of her head and all that stuff. Um, Shout out to Shiro, by the way. But there are many women who can do that. And I think that it's also a teachable moment for Black women everywhere and girls to understand that you don't need a bundle. You understand, all the time sitting on top of your damn head. Sometimes just your natural beauty is enough to stun and devastate all of humanity, you know? So I loved that. But apparently what precipitated this is we have to go back, because in 2016, apparently Chris Rock was the host of the Oscars So White show. And he had, Jada Pinkett had boycotted the Oscars that year. And he had made a G.I. Jane joke about her then. And now, on last night's show, well, I'm saying last night, but today is actually, well, it's Tuesday now. It's 4:11 a.m. on Tuesday for me. And, but we'll still say last night. That's fine. After Chris Rock had made the joke about another actor and actress, before he even said that, he said, by the way, Jada, love you, Jada. He had much love for her. Then he went into his joke about the other couple, and he juxtaposed that to Will, because he was saying if the husband if his wife, he and his wife were nominated, and he said if this guy's wife loses, then the guy can't win, like for the love of God. And he was making the joke to say that this guy is probably sitting there secretly praying that for the love of God, please let Will Smith win, And that joke went over well. And then he said, by the way, Jada, I can't wait for G.I. Jane 2. And it was a laugh. And I took it as failed actress because G.I. Jane was like, oh my God, where's my, let's find out. What year was Jada Pinkett in G.I. Jane? Uh, what year was G.I. Jane released? 1997, bitch. You understand? So, I think the insinuation was, because Jada hasn't really had a real career. What did she have? Hawthorne or something like that. Some television show. She at one point had a brief 5-minute foray into singing like rock music that lasted 5 minutes. Um, not saying she's not talented, but we all know her from a different world, you know, and she's not really done anything that's like, oh my God, did you see Jada in such and such? Did you see Jada when she did such? I mean, she's just, and that's not a knock against her. It's just she's not had a huge career. And then you juxtapose that to her husband, who is a box office gazillionaire. He's box office gold. He's made billions for movies at the box office. So I think it was a failed actress joke, really. And then Will Smith decided to go up and smack him. Now, I watched it on every speed in slow motion. I isolated it, I slowed it down. I tried to find other angles to see if there was other angles available. I couldn't find any. Apparently, they've not been released because this picture actually right here is from an aerial crane looking down, but the event is only shown from the floor. So this picture testifies that there's another angle of this that exists that they've not shown yet, or at least I've not seen. So I was trying to decipher whether or not this was real or staged because these are both actors. Obviously, the greatest one among them would be Will. He's an action movie star, so he's going to know how to fake a punch or a slap. That just comes with the territory. So I really had to see, is this fake? Is this stage? Was this just one of those things, that they're just trying, that they set up a bit to, as part of the show? But when Will sat back down, and even with his vocalizing and saying, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. I mean, and Lupita Nyong'o was sitting next, by the way, another goddess supreme. We saw her descend on the wings of angels just before the show. I have the footage. Nobody else does. But she can't look like anything other than a goddess. She just can't. And but there she was clutching the proverbial pearl. At what she was witnessing because she was sitting right there. And then the show just kind of went on. And of course, later on, Puff Daddy or P. Diddy or Piffy or whatever name he's going by now. Wait, I'm being told something. All right, I'm being told by my staff he's going by Leprechaun now. Just being told. Black Leprechaun is what I'm hearing. Black Leprechaun is what I'm being told. All right, you heard it here first. And he made a statement when he was introducing an award saying that Chris and Will, we're going to handle this after the show like family, at the gold party or whatever, So he tried to make some lightness of it. And there was somebody else that said something, but then eventually Will Smith won for Best Actor, which would have been another historical moment. You remember we had a big deal when Halle Berry won the Actress Award. Denzel, I think, won the same year. It was all a big deal, you know. Then Jennifer Hudson wins, and you know, then Jamie Foxx won for Ray. You know, I mean, we just don't win Best Actor and Best Actress. And by the way, not that we care, because we should be over and should have long been over seeking validation and acknowledgement from white people. Period. If we just did our own thing aside from them, like, no, you don't need to invite us, we good, y'all do y'all thing, let it be all white, we it's been like that before, so this wouldn't be anything new, so we good. You see, it's just this fear of separation, and like you just still need them. You know, I know black people that if they open a business or advertise something, they're afraid to speak black because they don't want to potentially lose a white dollar. You know, so fuck that. You understand? This is what it means to be unapologetically black, everybody. That means the last thing on your list, not even on your list, is white people and what they think, feel, and say or will do. That should be a non-thought, period. But that's slightly aside from what I'm discussing, but damn it, it's relevant. So that history, and then now Will Smith, who has not won an Oscar, to my understanding, will just validate that information. How many Oscars has Will Smith won? This is his first one. You know, he even got the Screen Actors Guild Award this year, and also the Critics' Choice Award. And I wonder if he won the Golden Globe. Did Will Smith win the Golden Globe for 2022? Oscars 2022. I don't know if he won the gold. Let's see who won. Oh, that's 2020. Not sure if he won the Golden Globe. Why I mention it? Oh, there it is. Will Smith wins Best Actor at 2022 Golden Globes. Yeah, if you win the Golden Globe, that's pretty much, you're definitely going to get the Oscar. You know, Screen Actors Guild is a pretty good indication. And you know, the Critics' Choice is just kind of its own thing. But Screen Actors Guild, the SAG Award, if you win that, it's a pretty good indication. But if you win the Golden Globe, it's almost assured you will get the Oscar, unless you're Madonna, because she won the Golden Globe for Evita, but she did not win the Oscar, to my understanding. Did Madonna, wait, now the bitch wants to hear every word I say. Did Madonna win the Oscar for Evita?
According to Wikipedia,
The song
won
won
the same category at the 54th Golden Globe Awards and was nominated in 4 other categories, including Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and Best Actress. Motion Picture, Comedy, or Musical, with the latter won by Madonna.
Yeah, it was for the song won, but she didn't win the Oscar for acting. You understand? But she won the Golden Globe because I remember, what's the hell's name? Nicole Kidman was who was the presenter, and I remember when she opened the envelope, she just said Madonna Evita, and I just thought that's so perfect. One word, one word. You know, it just anyway. But so he won the Golden Globe, and now poof, now Will Smith wins the actor at 50. I don't know how old he is. I feel like he's 52 or 57 or something. How old is Will Smith? He's 53. So he wins this. And by the way, can we just add that he still looks exactly the same as he did from his first album? Anyway, I will try to show you a picture of him before we're done with this. Because I was so struck by how well Allah has preserved him. I mean, he still looks the same, you know. And the principle of it, because he laughed at the joke at the beginning, but Jada was already rolling her eyes and not feeling it at all, if you go back and watch the footage. And then he went up there and smacked the piss out of Chris Rock. I understand why he was laughing at the beginning, and I feel like he explained it in his acceptance speech when he won for Best Actor, because he was talking about how, you know, to get to here to do what we do, you have to go through a lot of people disrespecting you, talking smack about you, you know, and you have to go through a lot of things to compromise yourself and all these sorts of things. He was very emotional. And I feel like that a lot of that was precipitous of what he was actually saying in the speech itself. You know, his sister in an interview even was talking about how she's had many conversations with him over the years and has cried at some of the stories that he's shared with her about all the things he's had to go through to get to where he is, you know. And we can insinuate a lot of things in that statement, you know. But even outside of those things, we know that just as an African, and, you know, with white people running the film and television industry, and not just film and television, anything in this nation is difficult for African people. So anyone who has arrived didn't get there easily. You'll recall Dave Chappelle on the Actors Studio. He was sitting up there telling the guy that was the host of that show, he said, you don't talk to any weak people. You're not talking to any weak people. Weak people don't get here. You understand? These are strong ass people. And he's 100% right. You know, any of these people you see on television or in movies or doing stuff, they didn't just appear there. Trust me, they had to go through hell to get there. And then it's double that if you're an African person, male or female. So it was the punch heard around the world. But I also wanted to know what was the white response. And I saw one white demon who did a video, and he had rushed to get this video out, which I'm sure many of these people did. But what struck me was he says he's been a fan of Will Smith for 15 or 18 years, something like that. And he said 5 seconds ruined all the 18 or 15 years that he's been a fan of Will Smith with a hair in his mouth. I'm over it. Anyways, and I just thought, not surprised, because white people will act like everything is all good and hold you up. But one thing, and then you see the true color. The mask comes off and their true identity shines through. So he spoke for most, if not all of them, in his statement, because we've seen this happen with others, you know, Africans who they have in their mind embraced. You know, I'm waiting for Beyonce to do something really in favor of her people, and then all these white people that claim they love Beyonce so much will have the same reaction that this guy is having to Will Smith. It's fake, you know. They are responding to what they see as the Negro who doesn't challenge them and hold them to account and indict them for their evil. We've not seen any of that from Will Smith. So they love him, you know, and he always turns on like the clown monkey to be entertaining and all that stuff and loud and all that, you know, and he performs for them, you see. So while this wasn't even an act against one of their white asses, they're waiting for their river to be able to let forward all their evil and hate. So that's what will happen now to Will. The homework will be to see how far is it going to go, you see. How far will it go? We already saw, I saw that on The View, there was Whoopi Goldberg's bitch ass. And they were talking about it on The View. And of course, Ana Navarro, who is the plump Latina Republican that sits her fat ass up there. You know, of course, she's no different than the white man. I'm sure she identifies as white while overly exaggerating her Spanish dialect and all that stuff. She's still a white bitch. And there she was carrying the water for the demons, condemning him. And, you know, this was the unforgivable act. It was an act of assault. And, you know, it just can't be forgiven. And on her fat ass went. Well, that's fine, Anna. But there was Sunny Houston, who has torn her drawers with me. And she was saying, I wonder if they'll take the Oscar from him now, you see. It goes right to that. Then we hear that the Oscar committee was debating behind the scenes after the event whether or not to have Will removed from the theater. You see what I'm saying? You don't get to make no mistakes at all. That's why we were so outraged over the fat whore that murdered Dante Wright. I don't give a damn if you don't know the difference between a taser and a gun, bitch. You gotta go. Somebody died. You see? But in their minds, this was worse than that. That's the sickness that we're dealing with. That's the pool of vomit in which you live. Take the Oscar away, you know. Because isn't it ironic, during his speech, he said that Denzel Washington, who is now looking very professorial, and the GOAT looks like a wise, Jedi or something. I mean, Denzel is impressive, but interesting that Will quoted him saying, Denzel told me, he said, it's at your highest moment that the devil comes for you, and indeed that is metaphorical and literal, because white people are the ones who came up with this idea that you build somebody up just to tear them down. That's not a natural human thing. That comes from demons, everybody. So don't let that come out of your mouth. Don't ever. Don't. That is the work of devils. That's not the work of humans. Do you understand? You build someone up because you believe in them and you take joy in seeing their success. It is only a sick, depraved animal, a thing, that builds somebody up to tear them down. So let us not ever adopt that philosophy or its language, quite frankly. But now it will be interesting to see if this is now the thing that they will use to precipitate the downfall and the destruction of Will Smith. Interesting that he gets the Oscar for King Richard, playing the father of Venus and Serena Williams. A dynamic black man, indeed a king. who pissed off a lot of white demons, most of them Zionists, who always want to take the wealth of African people, whatever product or commodity we have, or even our children or family members. Here their white asses come in as the agent, the manager, the accountant. You understand? This is how they come in. Their history has always been to suck off of us. During and after slavery, once there was sharecropping, they set up their businesses around where we were, the convenience stores where you could buy your feed and your daily goods and stuff like that, as if they were friends. You understand? Everybody who has gotten anywhere financially in this nation with generational wealth and personal wealth has done it, whether they acknowledge or like it or not, on the backs of African people. Damn it. That is the truth. Let it be proclaimed. So he's playing King Richard, who would not give his girls over to any of these demons. A man who was not a tennis player himself produced the two greatest tennis players ever in the history of the world. Period. And when they can't get your children away from you, they demonize you. They did it to him. They did it to Tiger Woods' father. They did it to Joe Jackson. They do it to anybody who doesn't give their child over to them. That's what it's about. Indeed, that's even what Wendy Williams' issues are about right now financially, because these Zionists want her money. She doesn't get a chance to walk away with her millions. Do you understand? That's why we're hearing names like Schilling and Young and Goldberg and all this shit, even as it relates to Wendy, because those are the ones that are around her to suck her money away. No question about it. Am I getting low battery? Damn it. Wait, y'all. And by the way, I should also mention, in the exchange between fat ass Ana Navarro and Sonny Houston and Whoopi Goldberg, Whoopi Goldberg says, no, we're not going to take the Oscar from him. She mentioned the word we're. So I'm pretty sure she's on the Academy as a voter and all that kind of stuff, since she is an Oscar winner and she's has the EGOT, the Emmy, the Oscar, the Grammy, and the Tony, So she's saying no on that, and she was saying sometimes people just snap. And in this case, she thinks he just snapped, like he had just had enough of it, But the other component to it is, indeed, this was a black man striking another black man in front of an audience of 1 billion people, probably, certainly several million, I don't know what the ratings for the Oscars is now, but so on a personal African family note, this is an embarrassment to us on two regards, because A, Chris Rock or anybody else should never be using African people as the butt of any joke at all, ever. If it's something very innocuous, like you saw, I don't know, somebody trip and fall and you wanted to make a joke about it, something, but not anything personal. Not anything personal. And certainly nothing that attacks our women. You're a comedian, go and make fun of everybody else except black people. And when you make fun of black people, you don't go to anything that's cultural. I saw a Nigerian comedian, somebody speaking about this, saying exactly about this topic of making fun, saying when it comes to Nigerians, it's just known in the culture. If you're a comedian, you stay away from stuff that embarrasses the culture. So you have to walk a very fine line, because they don't go for that. That's not allowed. And you will receive the wrath if you cross that line. So don't do it. So why can't we exercise those same principles? I ask you now. I ask you this now. You see, there was somebody else that, that made me watch an old performance that Justin Timberlake had done on the Soul Train Awards. He had been invited one year, and he did a small medley of songs. And when he did that, grab a cup, I don't know the name of the song, nobody cares. All right, but anyways, here he is in front of a black audience. You've been invited to the Soul Train Awards, and there was one black female dancer, and he smacks her on the ass during the routine. After you'd just done a full one-on-one routine with the white bitch, he smacks the ass of a black woman on stage in front of a black audience. That's when every nigga in the audience should have rushed the stage. You see, it came across as innocent and all that, but that was not lost on me. You're gonna smack the ass of a black woman, and you're not into black women, which you don't need to be. Stay your ass over there. But it was a disrespect, and nobody said anything. You see, that should have been an outrage, and we should have bitched and complained until his career was over. Because that's what some of them will do with this event even. You see, we have to remain vigilant, everybody. We have to remain vigilant. And if there's any group of people who have the right to be very sensitive to every fucking thing in this nation, it's us. Yet we're letting all these illegitimate ass people have all their sensitivity and outrage over anything. If they just even break a nail, it's an international event, and somebody has to step down and learn and shit. You know, we have to be over that. To Chris Rock's credit, he handled it as best anybody could. You know, I think the Oscars are live, and they are live because they're held in California, and so there's a 3-hour time difference between California and the East Coast, so they're live. You know, and what else could he do? So his display of self-restraint, self-control, and professionalism has to be noted in this event. I mean, he was definitely shook because the next award he was supposed to be bringing somebody out to present for Best Documentary, and he goes, "We're going to bring out a documentary now," or I mean, we're going to bring out present the award for Best. I mean, he was off, and then he made another mistake after that. I mean, he was still shook. Because every fiber in his body wanted to say, what the fuck? What? You said, not that he could take Will physically. We don't know that, though. I never judge by size. Because I beat up people bigger than myself, and I've seen other people beat up people that you're like, there's no way they have a chance. And they have annihilated them. Annihilated. So, there's a lot of things he could have did. They didn't throw to commercial. There was nothing he could do. This is live. And he carried on. So I have to give it over for that. I also learned that he said he's not pressing charges because this was an assault. Let us be very clear. Under the law, this was a classic textbook assault. And any lawyer would acknowledge that. And certainly even any defense lawyer would be saying to Will, you may as well just pay whatever he's going to ask. You should just pay that. You should pay it. So if Chris Rock wanted to offer or ask for even $100 million, that would be absolutely reasonable, because you have not only the assault, but this was during his job, and it's being witnessed by hundreds of millions of people across the earth. The emotional baggage and the emotional injury that he could insinuate in a lawsuit would be absolutely valid, and he could go to any length that he could imagine. 200 million, 500 million, whatever it is. There's not going to be a ceiling on it. He's a public figure. This happened in front of the world, but also people that know him. And the long-term emotional scarring, because this will be mentioned. People are going to bring this up to him. Ooh, Will Smith smacked the shit out of you. Ooh, Will Smith smacked the shit out of you. He's got to hear that. There's a dollar amount to be affixed to that. Do you understand? So he saying he's not prosecuting, not that he needs the money, but I'm just saying the door is open for any monetary amount that Chris Rock could conjure or imagine. That's what's real. So we have to give it over for his decorum and his self-control and all of that. As I said to you, his mother was interviewed, and Carolyn, and she said that she stands by her son. She said she's never seen him be unkind to anybody or react or go off on anybody in his entire life. So while surprised, she wasn't throwing her son under the bus, you understand, or condemning him in any way. And I stand behind the sister at all times. So, and as I say, I think his speech was also very telling. He was very emotional, and it made me think that because you guys have witnessed, and I have talked about, there's times when I'm holding a lot of emotion. I'm just holding a lot, and sometimes it can just spill out, and you're just in tears, and all of that. He talked about, there's a calling on my life for what God wants me to do with my life, and to be a river for my people. I felt a profound spirit coming from him in his acceptance speech that was bigger and deeper than I think anyone in that room could perceive or understand in that moment. But I got it. I don't know Will Smith. I don't know his life and all that stuff, but what comes from the heart reaches the heart. I always tell you this. And this was one of those moments. I felt it. And I'm sure that the white demons are now scrambling, because what does this mean? Is he going to be woke now? Because that's a racial slur being used against us now. Woke. Do you understand? And any white person using that shit needs to be chastised very quickly and swiftly, because that's what they're doing now. They're using it as a racial slur, right up there with the calling us a nigger. That's what they're doing now with this woke word. I should do a whole piece just on that. And so maybe they're afraid, because he has the money, he has the visibility, he's got the platform, and he's 53 now. Not really a whole lot more to prove to the world, you feel me? But I digressed, because I was going to talk about the fact that he was winning for this King Richard, excuse me. And it's surprising. I'm trying to figure out why he won. I don't know if that was gratuitous, because not that he's not a good actor, and I didn't see the movie, by the way, but not that he's not a good actor, but just the subject matter. You understand? Because Denzel was amazing in Malcolm X, and there's no way they would acknowledge that subject matter and offer an Oscar for that, even though it was clearly worthy of it. So I use that as an example to help you understand why I would be hesitant and suspicious of this now Oscar win for this movie. You understand? And maybe because it was Will Smith, because he is the quote unquote safe Negro, you know, that they would acknowledge it or something, something political was about it, because like I said, white people don't change ever. And so I was really just trying to figure out how, even if this whole physical altercation hadn't taken place, I would still be sitting here questioning, how did he win for that movie? For that movie, because they really villainized and demonized Venus and Serena's father, and called him crazy, and he was insane, and it was a few things, So it's still very suspicious to me about how he even won for this damn movie. Let me just be clear to say that. Let me see. I have to mention Beyonce in this because I can't, I didn't know that, again, I don't know anything about the Oscars. Didn't even know they were coming on. Don't have television. Wouldn't watch them anyway, etc., etc. But of course, in the course of learning what I could learn about this event, that poof, she pops up, and I'm over it. First of all, here she was in all yellow. And as I always tell you, everything is like a riddle and a witchcraft moment with her. A lot of suspicious imagery and things like this. To her credit, she shot this in the city of Compton. She was not live at the. She wasn't in the theater at the Oscars to perform this, and but her performance was live. And, here she is with these people coming down the street, and somebody's on a black horse. What does this mean? What does it mean? That's what I'm saying. Everything's a riddle and a damn. I can't with this female at all, dude. She's a witch. Like, I cannot with her. Then there was these two young ladies. I don't know if they were I assume they weren't the actual actresses from the movie, King Richard, because they showed a clip of the movie when he was nominated. And I will say the one that they picked for Serena looked like that's her as a little girl, she was already talking white, just like Serena. And it all made me vomit. But this was part of Beyonce's performance, this spectacle. Again, what does this mean? What does it mean? And then, of course, there she is with her triangles and pyramids, as usual. It's just, I cannot with her. I can't, The song is called Be Alive. I didn't love the song. I didn't understand it. I didn't love it. I didn't love the visual presentation. It all made me sick, and I'm probably getting medicated, Then there's a shot of her here. First of all, like you see that even the tennis net is yellow. The whole thing, the floor, all of it, it's all yellow. They're all in yellow. All the musicians, all the dancers. One compliment I will also offer for her is, and not just in this performance, but all of her, I love that she is not afraid to just include women and girls. Like, no place for men here. Y'all good. You feel me? I respect and love that, actually. There's something endearing about it for me. I love that. Like, yeah, I'm here for it. But here's a close-up of her now. And of course, it's yellow gloves. And, what does it mean, Beyonce? I just don't understand her, dude. I'm still back at Dangerously in Love. I have not moved. Okay, I think I moved to Deja Vu, and I moved to Freakum Dress, and Upgrade You, and something else. But I just haven't moved. You know, where's the Beyonce that without the riddles and signs and witchcraft and, you know, witchery and shit, you know, with the classic over the shoulder look at the end, you know, where she's turned away and then she snaps that head around to look at the audience. That's classic Beyonce for me, after she's just murdered the stage to dust. You know, we just haven't seen it. I don't really see any smiles from her in her performances. It's just everything is witchery, dude. It's just all witchery. All of it is witchery. I'm over it. And there's another shot of her. There was a band out there, as far as like there was some strings with violins and all of that, and there was some brass, you know, trumpets and trombones and baritones and things like that. It was a very subdued performance. It was mysterious. I didn't understand it. And as I said before, I did not love the song. I can't with it. I can't. And then one more shot here. This was the sort of yellow box that they were performing in, you know, and I'm sure streets were blocked off for several blocks around it, and there was security and blah, blah, blah. This even back here looks like, you know, makeshift trailers, probably dressing areas, things like the production area. You know, maybe some crew people or families are able to be there on these bleachers, you know, or something. I mean, again, it was mysterious. I didn't understand it, and I didn't care, you know, quite frankly. But to digress, I think this was an embarrassment for our community. Even at the end of his acceptance speech, still in tears, Will was saying, you know, he apologized to the Academy, and he hopes that they will invite him back and all of this. But worse things have been done at the Oscars, you know. You know, one year some white devil ran across the stage butt-ass naked during the live broadcast, you know, and that was all fine, you know. There's been worse things, people drunk and, you know, all kinds of inappropriate behavior and stuff like that. But, you know, this is just, we just need to divest ourselves from any of their shit to begin with, you know. But I think that in one regard, there's a part of me that I really don't care that Will Smith did this, because I feel like any infraction, insurrection, or attack against our women and girls should be handled. It's sad that it was another black man, but if you just let that hang out there, you won't get a second chance to make a first impression. That's one of the firm rules of life. And so there's a part of me that's like, yeah, he seized the moment he had to. You just disrespected his wife, and it's a joke. And, you know, I don't think that Chris meant it, you know, to be anything other than just a joke. I don't think there was a specious intent behind it. But sometimes just on principle, you know, if there's no difference in this, Will Smith's reaction and these fake ass, confused ass, transgender ass people trying to get Dave Chappelle fired and canceled because of his jokes. It's comedy, you know, and so that's what it is. But literally, he was the person trying to cancel him was literally a man just a couple months ago, and at the time he's bitching about Dave Chappelle and threatening to quit Netflix, he's now some woman. Nah. But the principle of it is what I'm saying, you know. They can jump up and be outraged about that and it be given legitimacy. So Will Smith has the right to be outraged over this. You know, as I say, it was just a shame that it was two black men, that this had to be displayed before white people, because like I say, we should never show disloyalty or disunity in front of their asses, if for no other reason just to piss them off. You know, don't give them the satisfaction of the reaction that they would desire to anything, no matter what it is or how big or small, public or not. Just deny them that. Deny them. You know, that's one of the ways you wage psychological warfare against any enemy of yours. Give them no comfort at all. So, it's a few things, you know. I don't know that Jada has spoken out. I couldn't find anything that she had spoken out, so I don't know. But as I say, members of his family, in fact, I didn't know he had two sisters. You know, they've spoken out, and his mother, and you know, I just think he did what he felt needed to be done in that moment, and that it was a principled move. You know, I don't take Will Smith to be someone who is mean-spirited or mean-hearted or specious in any way, and I think this was really an authentic act for him, you know. But again, the double standard of these demons, that they will make more of this than it needs to be made of. You know, this is a family issue. It's between Chris and Will and Jada at this point. That's what it should be, you know. And maybe the Oscar officials, because it was on their broadcast, and of course even the network, you know, that's all fine. But everybody else probably really should just shut up and sit their ass down, and they don't get to have an opinion that affects the situation. You know, you can just have your own opinion quietly over there in your own little worlds, but you don't need to have any power to affect the, you know, any future actions, you know, against Will, you know. And at the end of the day, money is the god of white people, certainly in Hollywood, and Will Smith is a bankable movie star, and that always overrides anything. I always tell you, you don't sit on the bus now wherever you want to because white people had some moral epiphany. You sit on the bus now wherever you want to because your dollar is green and they want it. And for all the you have to ride in the back of the bus, now they make sure that there's public transportation in any metropolitan area to send those buses to the poor black neighborhoods to bring that black dollar to where it needs to be in the city. You understand? They gonna make sure that's gonna happen on a bus. So there's the irony of that. So just on economics, I don't see any threat to his career at all. At all. And then I went and also watched his speech from the Screen Actors Guild Award and the Critics' Choice Awards. And he was also very emotional in those speeches. But the thing he kept saying was, I got a chance to protect the two actresses that played Venus and Serena. I got to protect their mother. I got to protect Venus and Serena. I got to protect, and the sister, I guess that was either an actress or the producer or something like that. And it was an interesting choice of words, you know. And in one of the interviews he gave to, I think, Entertainment Tonight, he said, you know, this is the type of thing, the type of man I want to be. You know, I've always wanted to be that guy. I want to be that man, you know, that protects. And he was saying, and it feels like for me with this movie, I'm holding the responsibility of all black women everywhere on my shoulders, like to get this right. You know, he was feeling that, you know, and even the family, while they were very involved in its production and sort of overseeing it, they would not give their okay or their blessing to the movie until after they saw the finished product, you know. And he made that very public at the Screen Actors Guild when he accepted the award. You know, he was saying, you know, and I appreciate you for doing that, you know, because sometimes Hollywood can get it wrong. You know, they take people's story and they twist it up or they make it something that it wasn't. So I respect and appreciate y'all for not giving your okay on it until you saw the finished product, you know. And he said that the highest moment of his entire career was probably this moment when he was at the Screen Actors Guild Award. He said, I'm accepting this award and I'm sitting at the table sitting next to Venus Williams. You know, he's like, this is the highest point of my career, you know, one of the highest honors of my career and so forth. And so, you know, it was very illuminating. You know, I think we don't really know Will Smith the way we think we do. And we certainly can appreciate his journey. You know, we saw his rap career, parents just don't understand, and blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly he has the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air out of the puff of dust and smoke nowhere. And, you know, we don't have an opportunity to appreciate the journey. I always tell you, nothing just appears. Everything has a pathology. So how does he go from rapper to #1 sitcom person on television? And then how do you go from that to huge movie star, blockbuster, you know, box office hit, you know, Independence Day and all of this? How does he get there? How does he get there? What I'm trying to say is there was a journey. And in that journey is a very long distance from the J to the Y. There's a long trip, a long distance that we don't know about. Turns out he does have a book called Will. That's just the name of it. So, and I'm understanding it's a bestseller. I don't know how long it's been out. And I'm to understand that he did not sanitize or hold back anything in this book. So I'm kind of interested to read it, quite frankly, you know. But what's the takeaway, Jedi? What's the takeaway? Well, I don't pretend to know the answer to that at this moment because, as I say, this is shifting and moving, it's evolving, it's new, it's fresh. I would just say that we should definitely be on the lookout and be monitoring any and all statements and fallout from this event, and be listening for the chorus from these demons who are no doubt looking for an opportunity to take this brother down, you know, for whatever we want to say about Will Smith personally and all that stuff. We need to be able to compartmentalize and separate and isolate moments to deal with the issue and not to then marry that to all the other aspects of what we know and don't know about his life. You understand? This is a singular event, and we should see it as such. You know, just as a side note, in one of the interviews that I saw to prepare for this, he was being interviewed by Gayle King about the movie itself. This was before the scandal. And she decides to bring up in the piece, you know, you and Jada have had a lot of infidelity in your marriage. He goes, no. There's been no infidelity in my marriage. There's been no infidelity. Jada and I don't have no secrets, and we've not surprised each other with anything. Interesting answer, by the way. We've not surprised each other with anything. Not really sure how to read that, but I don't know. I don't know. I will say that we will explore this at more length in our next live event. Everybody, we're at Tuesday, and on a personal note, I'd love for you to know that on Sunday I was expecting my Nigerian brother, but thankfully, to some regard, that didn't materialize because I really wasn't up to it. You know, I had other things that I needed to do on Sunday. Sunday didn't go the way that I wanted it to. I was tired, and I just really didn't want to keep that commitment. So, but I was prepared, and I just thought, well, I won't call Amos. And because I knew that he had gotten off late on Saturday, um, and later than he had anticipated, and he even said to me, about us getting together on Sunday, he said it'll probably be in the evening because I'm probably going to sleep most of the day and just get some rest. So I presume he probably just did that, and that was good for me too, because um, I want you to know that I went to sleep in the early morning hours of Monday, and let's see, today is Tuesday. So anyways, I slept all day. I didn't wake up. I think I woke up at some point. I only know that because my drapes were open. I must have gotten up to open those at some point when the sun had come up, and went back to bed. And then, anyways, I didn't wake up till something like after like, it was late. Like, I feel like it was like 7 o'clock or something like that. I got a lot of sleep, dude, is what I'm trying to tell you. So I'm grateful for that. I just thought I would share that. So inshallah, we will get a chance to be live at some point on Tuesday. Today, Tuesday. And if we don't, then maybe tomorrow, potentially. But I'm feeling strongly that it'll be later today, i.e. Tuesday, And it'll be interesting to hear what your thoughts are on it. And then I'll also be able to bring a more in-depth display visually about all of this, because I'll be on my PC, and also between now and then more will have developed on the story, more reaction, more reports, and things like that we will be able to glean and sort of put this all together and make an assessment of this. But I think the main thing that I would say is that we stand by Will on this. Whatever the provocation, no matter how wrong it was or wasn't, or, that's all a separate issue and can exist at the same time that I say we still ride with him. We still going to ride with him on this, because everybody is allowed to have an infraction. Nobody's perfect or angelic. And I think most people, if they would just use their damn mind, would just assess and say, listen, this is out of character for Will. This was provoked, just like the time a few years ago when one of these damn alphabet ass people, he was at a some sort of premiere or some event, a lot of paparazzi and press and crowd and stuff, and one guy, he thought the guy wanted to shake his hand, so he shook his hand. Then he thought the guy wanted a hug, and the guy moved in to kiss him, and he shoved the dude back like, the fuck off me, you feel me? And but again, that was provoked. One of the things we do know about Will Smith is that he's extremely positive and analytical and philosophical, and all those things. It gets a little annoying at times, but you could tell he's in a deep place of reflection and thought and knowledge when he speaks on anything. He's measured with his words, and he brings his point across, so he's not random. So that is respectable and remarkable, So we know this wasn't specious. It wasn't like, Suge Knight stormed the stage and, you know, did something, you know, this was Will Smith, you know. And so we have to also keep that in context as well. And I think any action by the Academy would be a dollar late and a day short, really, because there were, I don't know how much time elapsed between the time that he assaulted Chris Rock and then the announcement of the award for Best Actor. You know, and as I've said, we learned that they were debating about whether or not to have him removed from the building. So it seems at that moment they could have also decided we're either not going to air his portion, or we're not going to, or we can just switch the envelope right now and be like, nah, he's just made himself ineligible. So we're going to go to the second envelope, you know, that we have somewhere sealed of another actor that now I'm going to win this or whatever. I mean, whatever action, like, don't do, this shit is done now. So anything they're going to do is just going to it's just going to resurrect the story and give it even more legs and all of this. But you need to be listening very carefully and seeking out statements by white people of all stripes, whether they're in media, or if they're just fake ass people here on YouTube or online. It doesn't matter. You need to interest yourself to see their reactions. You understand? Because this is a time of education when real colors are going to be shown. As I cited, the one dude who, you know, said that this 5 seconds ruined everything that he ever thought about Will Smith, you know, because he thought Will Smith was the safe Negro. But now he saw that Will Smith will fire off on a bitch in a minute. So he's probably internalizing and thinking, well, he would do that for me. Because there's an inherent fear that they have of black men anyway, that they will never admit, you know. But it's real. It's real, you know. Just like OJ was theirs, you know. And even though we still don't know if OJ did it or didn't do it, just the insinuation means guilt to them on anything, you know. So I ride with Will. I do. Oh, I said I was going to try and show you a picture of him when he was 18. And you'll go, that can't be. That picture must have been taken yesterday. Stop it. Well, it wasn't. Let me bring that receipt. And boom, there he is. It's the same dude, y'all. Like, Will Smith is a warlock. All right. Cut the crap, Will. Where is the fountain of youth? All right. It's not about Jada. It's not about Chris Rock. It's not about where is the fountain of youth? All right. You're holding out on us, and we're just kind of over it. All right. But yeah, there he is at 18, his first album, and there he is Sunday night. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I will go out on a limb and challenge anybody to say Will has not had any work done. You understand? Because it would show up. One thing that is one of the many, many, infinitely many things about the divine and Allah's creation is it's so specific. I don't care if you got twins, you could still tell them apart, you know? And so when you see the human face specifically, any changing of that, no matter how slight, is going to stand out and be noticed. And I think Will, and you saw the picture of his mom, and that's just it. I mean, he just has that stock where he just does not change, you know. There's some YouTube videos on his channel where he's letting his gray show and stuff like that a little bit, but this means nothing, you know. It's still the same dude. And I would be remiss if I didn't show you this. This is a very, very, I stress, very young brother. Goes by the name of the Jedi. All right. On the left is when I was 5. All right. All right. Maybe 16. Settle down. And then on the right is me, of course, recently at 21. You guys know my birthday just passed in February, so now I'm 25. And so after 25 years, the Oprah show, no. But I took this one day back in, I don't know, like 2015, I don't know. But anyways, the picture on the left is when I was in college then. And yeah, and this particular day I was just inspired to do a side by side of myself. You know, I just thought, why not? And so I did, you know. So I thought I'd share that as well. And I don't have the fountain of youth. All right. Excuse me. I just don't have it. I just don't have it. So I thought it'd be interesting to share that with you. Anyways, I'm not going to labor this any further, everybody. As I say, inshallah, if we're not together today, on Tuesday, I am hoping, and I'm really thinking that could happen. But if by some chance it doesn't, then inshallah we'll be together on Wednesday. As I told you guys, I'm trying to be more present in these last days of this month because the holy month of Ramadan will begin early next month. And while I will be present during the holy month, I just don't know how present. And also, you know, because it is the holy month, I have to be careful of what, you know, subject matter I cover and how I cover it and things like that, because I need to keep the month pure and free of any blemish, you know. So that's my intention. So can't wait to hear from you on this issue as it relates to the ongoing scandal now that is the Chris Rock, Will Smith debacle. And excited and anxious to hear your take and your reaction on everything, you know. So we should definitely have a great discussion around this. For now, I leave it here. I love you all. I'll see you soon.